Welcome to YT English Language Academy.
The Needle Tree, English Story Chapter 1. The Brothers. Once upon a time, in a small village surrounded by a thick forest, there lived two brothers. The elder brother, Mark, was selfish and greedy, while the younger brother, John, was kind and humble. They lived in a small wooden house with their widowed mother, who worked hard to provide for them. Mark always thought only of himself. He would take the best food and clothes, leaving little for John and their mother. John, however, never complained. He believed that kindness would eventually be rewarded. One day, their mother grew too old and weak to work. She called her sons and said, "My dear boys, I can no longer work in the fields. Mark, you're the elder brother. Please take responsibility for the family." But Mark shrugged and replied, "I've already done enough. Let John take care of you." John, though saddened by his brother's words, stepped forward. "Don't worry, Mother. I will take care of you." Chapter 2. Into the Forest. To support his family, John decided to gather firewood and sell it in the market. Every day, he would venture deep into the forest, chop wood, and carry it to the village. One cold winter morning, John was chopping wood when he heard a faint voice calling for help. He followed the sound and found an old man trapped under a fallen tree. Without hesitation, John lifted the heavy branches and freed the man. "Thank you, young man," the old man said. "You have saved my life. How can I repay you?" John replied, "I need no reward, sir. Helping you is enough." The old man smiled mysteriously. "Your kindness will not go unrewarded. Follow this path deeper into the forest, and you will find a strange tree with needles instead of leaves. Take one needle and carry it home." Chapter 3. The Magic Needle. Curious but trusting the old man, John ventured further into the forest. He soon found the needle tree, its shimmering needles glinting in the sunlight. He plucked a single needle and carefully placed it in his pocket. When John returned home, he showed the needle to his mother. As soon as she touched it, her face lit up. The needle transformed into a golden coin. From that day on, John's family never went hungry. Every time they needed money, they would hold the needle, and it would turn into a coin. Despite their newfound fortune, John remained humble and generous. He shared his wealth with the poor and helped those in need. Chapter 4. Mark's Greed. When Mark learned about John's needle, he was filled with envy. How dare he keep such a treasure to himself, he thought. Mark decided to find the needle tree and take as many needles as he could. Early one morning, Mark entered the forest and searched for the tree. After hours of wandering, he found it. Ignoring the old man's warning that only one needle should be taken, Mark greedily plucked as many needles as he could carry. As soon as he left the tree, the needles pricked his hands and turned into sharp thorns. He dropped them in pain, but the thorns grew larger and began to chase him. Frightened, Mark ran back home empty-handed. Chapter 5. A Lesson Learned. Mark returned home and told John and their mother what had happened. Realizing his mistake, he apologized for his greed and selfishness. "I have been a terrible brother and son. Please forgive me," he said. John, ever kind and forgiving, embraced his brother. "We all make mistakes, Mark. What matters is that we learn from them." From that day on, Mark changed his ways. He became generous and caring, helping John and their mother with their daily tasks. The family lived happily, and the magic needle continued to bless them. The story of the needle tree spread across the village, teaching everyone the value of kindness, humility, and forgiveness. The end.
The Ants and the Grasshopper. English Story Chapter 1. A Busy Summer. On a warm summer day, the sun was shining brightly over a lush green meadow. The ants were hard at work, carrying grains of wheat and storing them in their anthill. They moved in a line, each one carrying a small piece of food. Their tiny legs worked tirelessly as they marched back and forth, collecting supplies for the colder days ahead. "Hurry, everyone," said Auntie, the leader of the ants. "Winter will come before we know it, and we must prepare." Nearby, under the shade of a large tree, a cheerful grasshopper named Hoppy was playing his violin. The music echoed across the meadow, filling the air with joy. Hoppy noticed the ants scurrying about and called out to them. "Why are you all working so hard?" he asked. "Come and enjoy this beautiful day." Auntie stopped for a moment and looked at Hoppy. "We are gathering food for the winter. When the cold comes and the ground is covered in snow, there will be nothing to eat." Hoppy laughed and played a lively tune on his violin. "Winter is so far away. There's plenty of time to worry about that later. For now, let's have fun." But the ants ignored him and continued their work. They knew that preparing for the future was more important than enjoying the moment. Chapter 2: The Changing Seasons. As summer turned into autumn, the days grew shorter, and the air became cooler. The meadow was now golden, and the trees were dressed in vibrant shades of red, orange, and yellow. The ants were still busy, but their food stores were nearly full. They had worked tirelessly all summer and were proud of their efforts. Hoppy, on the other hand, had spent his days singing, dancing, and relaxing. He had not gathered any food or prepared for the cold months ahead. He still believed there was plenty of time to get ready. One crisp morning, Hoppy noticed frost on the grass. The cold weather had arrived sooner than he expected. He shivered as he hopped through the meadow, searching for food. But the once abundant meadow was now barren. The flowers were gone, and the ground was hard and unyielding. "What will I do?" Hoppy wondered aloud. "I should have listened to the ants." Chapter 3: A harsh winter had arrived, covering the meadow in a thick blanket of snow. The ants were safe and warm inside their anthill. Their food stores were full, and they spent their days sharing stories and enjoying the fruits of their labor. Hoppy, however, was not so fortunate. He wandered through the snowy landscape, cold and hungry. His violin, once a source of joy, now lay silent in his hands. He thought about the ants and their hard work and felt regret for not heeding their advice. One day, Hoppy found himself near the anthill. He hesitated for a moment, then knocked gently on the entrance. Auntie appeared, looking surprised to see the grasshopper. "Hoppy, what are you doing here?" Auntie asked. "I'm cold and hungry," Hoppy admitted. "I didn't prepare for winter, and now I have nothing to eat." Auntie looked at Hoppy with compassion. "We warned you, but you chose to spend your time playing and singing." "I know," Hoppy said, lowering his head. "I was foolish. Please, can you help me?" Chapter 4: A Lesson Learned. The ants held a meeting to decide what to do. Some ants felt that Hoppy should learn from his mistakes and face the consequences. Others believed in showing kindness, even to those who had been careless. In the end, Auntie decided to help Hoppy, but with one condition. "We will share our food with you," Auntie said, "but you must promise to help us next summer. Work with us, and you will understand the value of preparation." Hoppy eagerly agreed. "I promise. I will work hard and prepare for the future." The ants gave Hoppy food and a warm place to stay. He was grateful for their generosity and spent the winter learning from them. He listened to their stories and understood the importance of planning ahead. When spring arrived, the snow melted and the meadow came back to life. Hoppy kept his promise. He worked alongside the ants, gathering food and storing it for the next winter. Though he still played his violin, he made sure to balance his time between work and play. Chapter 5: A New Beginning. As the seasons passed, Hoppy became a part of the ants' community. He learned to appreciate the value of hard work and the joy of being prepared. His music became a source of motivation for the ants as they worked, and he felt a sense of fulfillment he had never known before. When winter came again, Hoppy was ready. He stayed warm and well-fed, knowing he had contributed to the preparations. The ants and Hoppy spent their evenings together, singing songs and sharing laughter. From that day on, Hoppy never forgot the lesson he had learned. He realized that life was about balance, enjoying the present while preparing for the future. And so, the ants and the grasshopper lived happily, each contributing in their own way to the harmony of the meadow. The end. The Bear and the Two Friends, English Story Chapter 1. The journey begins. Once upon a time, in a small village surrounded by forests and hills, there lived two best friends, Ravi and Amit. They were inseparable, always playing, studying, and dreaming together. One sunny morning, they decided to go on an adventure into the nearby forest. "This will be fun, Ravi," Amit exclaimed as he packed some food and water. "We can explore new places and see animals." Ravi nodded with excitement. "Yes, but remember, the forest is also dangerous. We should stick together." The two friends set off, walking along a narrow trail. Birds chirped, and the sun filtered through the tall trees. The forest was alive with the sounds of nature. As they ventured deeper, Ravi and Amit felt a mix of excitement and nervousness. Chapter 2. A Warning from the Villager. Before they entered the heart of the forest, they met an old villager collecting firewood. He looked at the boys with concern. "Where are you two going?" the old man asked. "We are going to explore the forest," Ravi replied confidently. The old man shook his head. "Be careful. The forest is home to wild animals, including a bear that roams these parts. If you see danger, remember to stay calm and think wisely." Ravi and Amit thanked the man and continued their journey, feeling a bit uneasy but determined to enjoy their adventure. Chapter 3. A Beautiful Discovery. The boys walked for hours, discovering beautiful sights. They found a sparkling stream and skipped stones across it. They picked wild berries and climbed rocks to get a better view of the forest. "This is amazing," Amit said, his eyes shining with excitement. "I wish we could stay here forever." "Me too," Ravi agreed, "but we must remember the old man's warning. Let's stay alert." As they continued, the forest became denser and the sounds of animals grew louder. Ravi and Amit felt both thrilled and cautious. Chapter 4. The bear appears suddenly. The peaceful forest grew silent. The chirping birds and rustling leaves stopped. Ravi and Amit looked around nervously. Then, from behind a large tree, a big brown bear appeared. It stood on its hind legs and growled loudly. The boys froze in fear. Amit panicked and ran to the nearest tree, climbing up as fast as he could. Ravi, on the other hand, remembered the old villager's advice. He lay flat on the ground, holding his breath and pretending to be dead. The bear sniffed Ravi, circling him several times. Finally, it growled softly and walked away, disappearing into the woods. Chapter 5. The Lesson Learned. When the bear was gone, Amit climbed down from the tree and ran to Ravi. "Are you okay?" he asked, his voice shaking. Ravi sat up slowly, dusting himself off. "Yes, I'm fine. The bear didn't harm me because it thought I was dead." Amit looked guilty. "I'm sorry I left you alone. I was so scared." Ravi smiled faintly. "It's okay, Amit. But remember, true friendship means standing by each other in times of danger." Amit nodded, understanding the importance of loyalty and bravery. The two friends decided to return to their village, carrying the lesson they had learned in their hearts. Chapter 6. Sharing the Story. When they reached the village, Ravi and Amit told everyone about their adventure. The villagers listened with wide eyes, amazed at their courage and wisdom. The old villager who had warned them smiled. "You boys have learned a valuable lesson. The forest teaches us many things if we pay attention." From that day on, Ravi and Amit became even closer friends. They never forgot the bear or the importance of true friendship. Their story was told for generations, reminding everyone of the power of loyalty and courage. The end. Controlling Anger, A Journey of Growth. English Story Chapter 1. The Spark. In the small town of Meadowfield, a boy named Leo lived with his parents and younger sister, Mia. Leo was known for his quick temper. Whether it was losing at a video game or being teased by his friends, his anger flared up like a fire. Many people liked Leo because he was kind when he was calm, but they also feared his outbursts. One day, during a soccer game at school, Leo's teammate Sam accidentally kicked the ball into their own goal. Their team lost the match, and Leo couldn't hold back his frustration. He shouted at Sam in front of everyone. Sam's face turned red with embarrassment, and he walked away without saying a word. The other players avoided Leo after that. That evening, Leo's father noticed something was wrong. "Leo," he said gently, "what happened at school today?" Leo frowned. "Sam messed up the game. I couldn't help it. I was so angry." His father nodded. "I understand it's frustrating, but how did yelling help?" Leo didn't have an answer. His father continued, "Anger is like fire. It can burn and destroy, or it can warm and light up. The choice is yours. Leo didn't fully understand, but his father's words stayed with him. Chapter 2: The Wise Gardener. The next day, Leo's teacher announced a class trip to a nearby farm. The students were excited. When they arrived, an old gardener greeted them. His name was Mr. Ellis. He showed them around the farm and taught them about plants and trees. While walking through the garden, Mr. Ellis said, "Do you know what happens if you don't control the weeds? They grow wild and harm the good plants." Leo raised his hand. "What do you do with the weeds?" Mr. Ellis smiled. "You must pull them out carefully, but if you're too rough, you might damage the good plants too. Patience and care are the keys." Leo thought about his own anger. Was it like the weeds? Was it harming the good parts of him? Chapter 3: The First Step. Leo decided to work on his temper. The first test came when Mia accidentally spilled juice on his homework. He felt his anger rising, but he took a deep breath and counted to 10. "It's okay, Mia," he said, surprising himself. Mia looked at him, shocked. "I'll redo it." Later, his mother praised him. "I'm proud of you, Leo. Staying calm is not easy, but it's worth it." Leo felt good about himself. For the first time, he saw how controlling his anger made him happier. Chapter 4: Helping Sam. Leo wanted to apologize to Sam. He found him sitting alone during lunch. "Hey, Sam," Leo began. "I'm sorry for yelling at you. It wasn't your fault." Sam looked at him and smiled. "Thanks, Leo. That means a lot." From that day, their friendship grew stronger. Leo realized that fixing mistakes felt better than holding on to anger. Chapter 5: The Big Challenge. One day, during another soccer match, a player from the opposing team tripped Leo on purpose. He fell hard and felt pain in his knee. Anger bubbled inside him, but he remembered his father's words and Mr. Ellis's lesson about weeds. Leo stood up, brushed off the dirt, and continued playing. He didn't let the anger control him. After the game, the player who tripped him came over and apologized. "I was wrong," the player admitted. "You're a great player, and I respect you." Leo's heart swelled with pride. He had won more than just the game. He had won self-control. Chapter 6: Spreading the Light. Leo's efforts to manage his anger inspired others. When his friends saw his calmness, they tried to follow his example. Leo even started a small club at school called Cool Minds, where students shared tips on staying calm and solving conflicts peacefully. Leo's life changed for the better. He realized that while anger was natural, controlling it made him stronger and happier. The boy who was once feared for his temper became loved for his kindness. Epilogue: Growth like a tree. Years later, Leo returned to Meadowfield as an adult. He had become a counselor, helping children manage their emotions. He often visited Mr. Ellis's farm, now run by new owners, and smiled at the lessons he had learned there. Leo knew he wasn't perfect, but he had grown, like a tree that once struggled to survive among weeds but now stood tall and strong. And that was enough. The end. The Wolf and the Sheep. English story. Once upon a time, in a peaceful green valley surrounded by high mountains, there lived a flock of sheep. They grazed on the lush grass, played together, and slept under the bright stars at night. The sheep were happy, but they were always careful because deep in the dark forest nearby lived a cunning wolf. The wolf was hungry and clever. He often watched the sheep from behind the trees, licking his lips and thinking about how to catch one. But the sheep were protected by their shepherd, a kind man who carried a strong wooden staff. The shepherd had a loyal dog named Max, who was brave and always kept an eye on the flock. One day, the wolf thought of a plan. He decided he would trick one of the sheep into leaving the safety of the flock. He thought, if I can separate a sheep from the others, it will be easy to catch it. The next morning, the sheep were grazing near the edge of the forest. The wolf saw his chance. He chose the youngest sheep, a little lamb named Bella, who loved to explore. Bella was curious and often wandered a little farther than the others. The wolf disguised his voice and called out softly, "Bella, Bella, come here. I have found a secret meadow with the sweetest grass. It's not far, and I can show you the way." Bella stopped eating and looked around. She didn't recognize the voice, but the idea of sweet grass sounded tempting. She asked, "Who are you? How do you know my name?" The wolf replied, "I am a friend. I watch over you and your flock from the forest. I saw you yesterday and noticed how you love adventure. I thought you might like to see the secret meadow." Bella hesitated. She knew the shepherd and Max always told her to stay close to the flock, but her curiosity was stronger. Just for a little while, she thought. She followed the voice, stepping deeper into the forest. The trees grew taller, and the sunlight faded. Bella started to feel nervous. "Where is the meadow?" she asked. The wolf grinned, showing his sharp teeth. He no longer hid his true voice. "Oh, little lamb, there is no meadow. You have fallen into my trap. Now I will have my feast." Bella's heart raced. She realized her mistake. She bleated loudly for help, hoping the shepherd or Max would hear her. Meanwhile, back in the valley, Max's sharp ears caught Bella's frightened cry. He barked loudly to alert the shepherd, and together they ran toward the forest. Max followed Bella's scent, moving quickly through the trees. The wolf was about to pounce on Bella when he heard the barking. He turned and saw Max running straight toward him, with the shepherd close behind. The wolf knew he couldn't fight both of them, so he growled in frustration and fled deeper into the forest. Bella was shaking with fear, but she was unharmed. Max gently nuzzled her, and the shepherd picked her up in his arms. "You're safe now, Bella," he said softly. When they returned to the flock, Bella felt ashamed. "I'm sorry," she said to the shepherd, Max, and the other sheep. "I should have listened and stayed with everyone." The shepherd smiled kindly. "We all make mistakes, Bella. What's important is that you've learned a lesson. The forest is dangerous, and not everyone who seems friendly has good intentions." From that day on, Bella stayed close to the flock and listened to the shepherd's advice. She became wiser and more cautious, warning others whenever they wandered too far. As for the wolf, he continued to live in the forest, always watching but never daring to come near the flock again. He had learned that the shepherd and Max were always ready to protect the sheep. And so the sheep lived peacefully in their valley, knowing that together they were safe from harm. Bella never forgot her adventure, and it became a story she shared with the younger lambs, teaching them to be careful and stay united. The end. The Tortoise and the Bird, English story. Once upon a time, in a lush green forest, there lived a wise old tortoise named Timothy. Timothy was known throughout the forest for his patience and cleverness. He spent most of his days near the calm river, basking in the sun or slowly munching on fresh leaves. His shell was large and strong, showing the many years he had lived. In the same forest lived a cheerful little bird named Bella. Bella was a bright yellow bird with soft feathers and a beautiful singing voice. She loved to fly high above the trees, exploring every corner of the forest. Bella was curious and always full of energy. One sunny morning, as Bella was flying near the river, she noticed Timothy slowly making his way to a patch of soft grass. Curious, Bella flew down and landed near him. "Good morning, Mr. Tortoise," Bella chirped. "What are you doing today?" Timothy looked up at Bella and smiled. "Good morning, little bird. I am just heading to that soft patch of grass to rest. What about you?" "I've been flying all morning," Bella said excitedly. "The sky is so clear today and the wind feels wonderful. Don't you ever wish you could fly, Mr. Tortoise?" Timothy chuckled. "Flying must be wonderful, Bella, but I am a tortoise. My feet are made for walking, not flying. Besides, I like my slow and steady life." Bella tilted her head. "But don't you get bored moving so slowly? I can't imagine staying on the ground all the time." Timothy thought for a moment. "Every creature is different, Bella. You enjoy flying because that's what you were made to do. I enjoy walking and resting because that's what I was made to do. Each of us has our own special way of living." Bella nodded, but she still felt sorry for Timothy. She thought he was missing out on the joy of flying. She wanted to help him experience the sky. The next day, Bella came up with an idea. She flew back to Timothy, who was sitting by the river. "Mr. Tortoise," Bella began, "I have an idea. What if I help you fly?" Timothy raised an eyebrow. "Help me fly? How would you do that?" "I can tie a strong vine around your shell and carry you up into the air," Bella said eagerly. "It will be an adventure." Timothy smiled kindly. "That's a very thoughtful idea, Bella, but I'm not sure it's safe. I am heavy, and you are so small." "Don't worry, I'll find a way," Bella insisted. "You deserve to see the forest from above, even if it's just once." Bella spent the rest of the day finding the strongest vines she could. She tested each one, tugging and pulling to make sure it wouldn't break. Finally, she found a vine she believed was strong enough. She brought it to Timothy. Are you ready, Mr. Tortoise? Bella asked with excitement. Timothy hesitated. I suppose I can try, but let's be careful, Bella. Bella tied the vine securely around Timothy's shell. She flapped her wings as hard as she could and lifted Timothy off the ground. At first it worked. Timothy rose slowly into the air and Bella chirped with joy. Look, Mr. Tortoise, you're flying! Timothy's eyes widened as he saw the forest from above. The trees looked like tiny bushes and the river sparkled like a silver ribbon. It's beautiful, Bella, thank you. But soon, Bella began to struggle. Timothy was heavier than she had expected. Her wings grew tired and the vine started to slip. Hold on, Mr. Tortoise, Bella cried. Before she could adjust her grip, the vine snapped and Timothy began to fall. Bella darted down, trying to slow his descent, but Timothy landed with a loud thud on a pile of soft leaves. Bella rushed to his side. Mr. Tortoise, are you okay? I'm so sorry. Timothy wiggled his legs and slowly stood up. I'm fine, Bella. Thankfully, these leaves broke my fall. Bella looked down sadly. I just wanted you to experience the joy of flying, but I almost hurt you instead. Timothy smiled gently. Your heart was in the right place, Bella, and I appreciate your kindness. But now you see why tortoises are meant to stay on the ground. Flying is not for everyone. Bella nodded. You're right, Mr. Tortoise. I should have listened to you. I'm sorry for putting you in danger. It's all right, Bella. We both learned something today. You learned that it's important to respect each creature's nature, and I got to see the forest from above, even if just for a moment. Bella's face brightened. I'll never forget that moment, Mr. Tortoise. Thank you for trusting me. From that day on, Bella and Timothy became the best of friends. Bella continued to fly high above the trees, and Timothy continued his slow and steady life on the ground. They would often meet by the river to share stories of their adventures. And so, the tortoise and the bird taught each other the value of understanding and accepting differences. They lived happily ever after in their beautiful forest, each appreciating the world in their own unique way. The end. The Cows and the Tiger English story. In a peaceful village surrounded by lush green fields and tall trees, there was a large meadow where 4 cows lived. These cows were the best of friends and did everything together. Their names were Bella, Daisy, Rose, and Lily. They grazed, played, and rested in each other's company every single day. Their unity was their greatest strength. Whenever they were together, no other animal dared to trouble them. Even the mighty tiger, who roamed the nearby forest, stayed far away from the meadow because he knew he couldn't take on all 4 cows at once. The tiger's plan. One day, the tiger sat under a shady tree at the edge of the forest, watching the cows graze. His stomach growled with hunger as he eyed them. If only I could catch one of those cows, he thought. It would be a feast, but those 4 are always together. How can I separate them? The tiger came up with a cunning plan. He decided to spread lies and sow distrust among the cows. The next morning, while the cows were grazing, the tiger approached the meadow cautiously. Keeping a safe distance, he called out, "Hello, friends." The cows looked up, startled. Bella, the eldest and most cautious cow, stepped forward. "What do you want, tiger? We know your tricks. Stay away from us." "Oh, dear Bella," said the tiger, feigning kindness. "I come in peace. I have no intention of harming you. I just want to share some news I heard from the other animals." "What news?" Daisy asked suspiciously. "Well," the tiger said, lowering his voice as if sharing a secret. "I heard Rose talking about how she doesn't like sharing the meadow with the rest of you. She thinks she deserves the best grass all to herself." The cows exchanged confused glances. Rose was shocked. "That's a lie. I never said such a thing." But the seed of doubt had been planted. Bella and Daisy looked at Rose with suspicion, while Lily remained silent, unsure of what to believe. Division among friends. Over the next few days, the tiger continued his deceitful work. He told Bella that Daisy thought she was too bossy. He told Daisy that Lily had been complaining about her laziness. Slowly but surely, the bond between the cows began to weaken. They started grazing in separate parts of the meadow, no longer talking or playing together. The tiger watched with satisfaction. "My plan is working," he thought. "Now I just need to wait for the right moment." The attack one afternoon, Bella was grazing alone near the edge of the meadow. She felt lonely and sad, missing the days when she and her friends were united. Suddenly, she heard a rustling sound. She looked up and saw the tiger creeping toward her. Bella froze in fear. She tried to call out for help, but her friends were too far away to hear her. The tiger pounced, and Bella had no chance to escape. The next day, the remaining cows realized that Bella was missing. They found traces of her struggle near the forest's edge and understood what had happened. Guilt and sadness filled their hearts. "If only we had stayed together," Daisy said, tears in her eyes. "We could have protected her." Learning a lesson. The tiger didn't stop there. He continued to target the cows one by one, using their disunity to his advantage. First Daisy, then Rose, fell victim to his attacks. Only Lily was left, grazing alone in the now empty meadow. She felt utterly heartbroken and terrified. One day, an old wise buffalo visited the meadow. Seeing Lily's sorrow, he asked, "What happened to your friends?" Lily explained everything: the tiger's lies, the mistrust that grew among them, and how they had paid the ultimate price for their division. The buffalo nodded solemnly. "Unity is strength, my dear. When you and your friends were together, the tiger didn't dare attack. But when you let mistrust separate you, he saw his chance. Always remember, working together and trusting each other is the key to staying safe." A new beginning. Though Lily could never bring her friends back, she vowed to honor their memory by spreading the lessons she had learned. She shared her story with the other animals in the meadow and the forest, warning them about the dangers of division and the importance of unity. Over time, the meadow became a place of harmony. The animals, inspired by Lily's story, worked together to protect one another from predators like the tiger. And though Lily often missed her friends, she found solace in knowing that their story had brought others closer together. From then on, the tiger never dared to approach the meadow again. The animals' unity became their greatest shield, proving that together, they could overcome any challenge. The end. Thanks for watching. Subscribe now. YT English Language Academy.